What do you think of my glasses? Do you think I suit glasses? I don't think I suit glasses at all. I suit that? No. Yeah, I don't think I should have glasses. I think I should keep them off for the video. Welcome back to another video, and today we're talking about camera basics. But first, let's compare it to clothes. Let's say it's a cold, snowy day and you go out in a top. Let's say our top is our shutter speed. It's fine, you can deal with it, but it's not the best experience because you're cold. But let's add a jumper to that. Okay, you've added your jumper, you're warmer, but it's still not the best because you're still cold. And let's say the jumper is our aperture. That's two things, shutter speed and aperture. Anyway, it's still cold and it's still not the best, so let's add another thing, a coat, which will be our ISO. Right, I'm not sitting down because I'm just going to have to get back up, take off, but we've added our coat, ISO. Now, we're warmer and now it's a much more enjoyable experience, and that's because we've mixed ISO, shutter speed and aperture together. Because we've put them three together, it's now a more enjoyable experience and you'll come out with a better outcome. So, yeah, that's just my little representation, see if it will help and get a basic understanding that using all three together will make taking photos a better experience, and once you learn it off by heart, it will make it so much easier to get cool photos. And yeah, hopefully the cloud representation helped with you who don't understand. Hopefully that gave you a kind of like idea. If not, then I'll probably just confuse you even more. I'm sorry, but yeah, I thought that would help. And I just crushed my hand in my chair. Ow. So you can't just use one, you need all three to actually be able to go and get some good photos. Them three things are super important, they all go together: ISO, shutter speed and aperture. So let's start off with shutter speed. Shutter speed controls so many aspects when it comes to photography. The camera's shutter will determine when the camera's sensor will be open or closed. The shutter speed specifically refers to how long the light is permitted to enter the camera. Shutter speed and exposure time refer to the exact same concept, where a faster shutter speed refers to a shorter exposure time. Let's say you want to capture a really fast moving object like a car, someone riding a bike or someone running. You're going to want to crank up that shutter speed, and then because you've cranked up the shutter speed, that means that shutter can open and close really fast, stopping the action. So with a high shutter speed, that shutter will open and close faster. Here's an example. Here's me doing a backflip to keep things easy. As you can see, I shot that at 1/2000th of a second. And you'll notice that everything is nice and sharp and nothing's blurry. Now, let's take the shot again, but let's lower that shutter speed to 1/60th of a second. That means that shutter will be opening and closing a lot slower. So because it's at 1/60th of a second, it's opening and closing a lot slower, which means my body has the chance to move while that is opening and closing. And as you see, I'm blurry because I was moving while that shutter was open and closing. Now let's talk about aperture. Aperture has two uses. One of them is so it can bring a lot more light into the image, meaning you can crank your shutter speed all the way up, and that's how you get them fast shots. You want to higher your aperture, lower your aperture to like f2 or whatever the lowest it is, and then that means you'll have the chance to higher your shutter speed, and that's when you can get like the water when you stop it still or someone running. But aperture also changes what happens in the background. Let's say you take a photo shooting at f22. As you can see, the foreground, the subject and the background all in focus because you've got a high aperture. Let's say you don't want the background in focus. That's when you would lower your aperture, bringing a lot more light in because the lens is all the way open. And that's when you would higher your shutter speed to quickly capture it so not as much light comes through. And then when you combine them two things together, shutter speed and aperture, you can get an image like this. Because you have a low aperture, the background is more shallower and it puts a lot more focus onto the subject. It's also the same when it comes to any other photos, it doesn't just have to be portraits. The camera's aperture setting determines how much light is let through your lens. It is specified in terms of an f-stop value. Different lenses will be different. Some don't open as wide, some are long and some are short. That's why we use different lenses, because different lenses are perfect for different things like portrait, landscape, and some lenses are better for setting a certain mood in certain images. There are millions of lenses what have different effects. Anyway, let's talk about ISO. When does ISO come into play? ISO mainly comes into play when you have bad lighting, such as when it's night time or you're indoors or you're just in a not very lit up area. If you don't have enough light, then you will bump up your ISO, which essentially brings fake light into the image. But the downside, the higher the ISO, the more grainier the photo will be. What we like to call it noisy. ISO is fake light, and all it is the sensitivity to the sensor for light. When you change the ISO, you're changing the sensitivity to the sensor for the light. Let's say you have the aperture wide open and you have your shutter speed perfect, and that's when ISO would come into play. You'd bump up the ISO, bringing more light into the image, fake light. The better the camera, the better low light capabilities it has. The better the camera, the better ISO and higher ISO you can use without bringing too much noise into the image. So if you're learning photography, learn them main 3 things first, and make sure you remember them so you don't have to really think about it as much, because at one point you'll take a photo and you'll look at it and you'll realise, oh, I need to bump the ISO up for this. Oh, I could get away with bumping some ISO up anyway without bringing noise in. Oh, I need to higher the shutter speed. Oh, I need to lower it. Oh, I need to open my aperture a bit more. Like, the more you practice, the more you'll realise when you take a photo, oh, this is what needs adjusting, so I'll do this. And then if you do that and it's too bright, then you'll know how to counteract that. Like, you open the aperture all the way up, you hide the shutter speed, stuff like that. Anyway, I hope you like this video. I hope it taught you something new. I hope you get into photography, or don't get into it necessarily, but you give it a go, just see what it's like, because you might enjoy it. But I just recommend them 3 things. They're the 3 things you should learn first, in my opinion. Anyway, that's it from me. Don't forget to drop a like, sub if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. What am I going to end it with? I don't have anything. Or we could just end the video like this.